So you're headed to the Philippines for 3 weeks and you're not sure what route to take. Well, you've come to the right video because me, my girlfriend, and my sister just got back from a 3-week trip to the Philippines and we decided to film everything. So traveling the Philippines is a bit different than traveling to other places in Southeast Asia, simply for the fact that you have to fly to literally every city you're going to or every island you're going to. Yes, you can take a boat from island to island, but from what I've heard, they're super long and yeah, maybe not the comfiest sleeping arrangements. So we just prefer to, just book the flight and fly everywhere. So for that reason, I put together a 3-week itinerary in the Philippines to try to help you and your friends when you are, traveling around the Philippines. Now, before I start the itinerary, I just want to say that 3 weeks in the Philippines, in my opinion, is not enough time. I've spent, I think, 2 months out of my life in the Philippines, and I've barely scratched the surface of it all. So if I were you, I would definitely go for at least a month. If you can stay longer, definitely stay longer. It's such a magical place. So let's get right into the video. This is how to spend 3 weeks in the Philippines. So if I was going to the Philippines for the first time, this is the route I think I would take. Yes, there's a million routes you can do in the Philippines, but in only 3 weeks, you don't have too much time to see everything. So in my opinion, these are the nicest spots you can hit in the shortest amount of time. So of course, when you're landing in the Philippines, you will be flying into the capital city of Manila. So we ended up only staying 1 night in Manila just because, myself and my sister and Anik don't really like city life too much. So we just decided to head straight for the beaches, just like you see, on Instagram and stuff like that. So the first spot I suggest going out of Manila is flying straight to Coron, or the actual island is called Busuanga. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Coron is an absolutely amazing place, probably one of the nicest spots you're actually going to see in the Philippines. The most popular thing to do in Coron, and I guess a lot of the Philippines, is going to be getting on a boat and checking out the surrounding areas. So once you leave Busuanga, which is kind of the big island that the Coron town is in, you can take a boat to the actual island of Coron. And I don't think I've seen anything this beautiful in my whole life. They take you to the Twin Lagoon, and this is probably, like I said, the nicest thing I think I've truly ever seen in my whole entire life. So you'll be spending 3 days in Coron. That should give you enough time to do the boat tour and check out anything else you want to do while you're in Coron. A nice hostel that we actually stayed at was called Outpost. It has a super sweet rooftop pool and a bar. The food was pretty good there. The vibe was just very good overall. So if you're into hostels, check out Outpost. It is, it's a cool spot. So leaving Coron now, your next destination is going to be El Nido, and that is 154 kilometers away by sea. So most people end up taking that fast ferry boat that will get you from Coron to El Nido in about 3 hours. But if you're smart, you're going to be doing something slightly different. What we suggest doing instead is going on one of these 2 trips. One is called the Tao Expedition and the other is called the Big Dream Boatman. And I believe this is going to be one of the best things you do in the Philippines, hands down, if not in your entire life. They are both very similar trips, but regardless, they will take you from Coron to El Nido or El Nido to Coron, and it's usually over a 4-day, 3-night or a 5-day, 4-night trip that takes you to all these little tiny islands between Coron and El Nido that most people just don't get the chance to see because they just zip there on the fast boat ferry. We decided to do the Tao Expedition and it was such an amazing experience. I've actually made a full video here if you want to see more in detail about exactly what this trip is all about. But you basically get to camp on all these secluded islands, staying in these tiny little bungalows with 25 people that you just met that really become close friends to you, and it's just truly the most amazing experience because no other tourists really get to do it unless you're on this boat tour. And the food on these things are so amazing. Like the chefs that prepare the food are unbelievable. So do not come to the Philippines and miss out on one of these 2 boat tours. Trust me, you will regret it for the rest of your life. So just watch the video because words really can't describe how amazing this experience actually is. And we ended up doing the 5-day, 4-night trip. So just like that, you're 9 days into the Philippines already. So time goes very quickly here. That's why you need to give yourself a long, long time while you're in the Philippines to see everything. So after the Tao Expedition, you are now crying because it is over, but don't worry because now you're in El Nido, which is another amazing place in the north tip of Palawan. You'll be spending 3 days here in El Nido and you're just going to be exploring, and there's also an amazing boat tour that you can do. There's 4 different boat tours you can do here, A, B, C, or D. We chose A simply because the guy who sold us the tour just said it was the most beautiful, and I think he was actually right because they take you to the big lagoon and it is the most mind-blowing thing you'll ever see. You're surrounded by these limestone rocks and you're cruising through this little canal with crystal clear water on a kayak. It doesn't get much better than this. When you're in El Nido, it kind of feels just like you're in one big movie.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
My only complaint about El Nido is that, yeah, it's very busy. Obviously, it's one of the most touristy spots in all of the Philippines, so you have to expect that there's going to be crowds of people wanting to check it out. But yeah, besides that, it's a very nice spot. The nightlife is great. There's lots of restaurants around. The food in El Nido was great, so definitely check it out when you're there. A great hostel to stay in El Nido is called Friends. Yeah, again, it has another rooftop pool, a really good restaurant downstairs, and it was just a very good vibe altogether. It's so nice in El Nido. I truly just love it here. But yeah, just keep in mind, it's going to be a little bit busier than other spots that you're going to be exploring in the Philippines. Leaving El Nido now, you're heading to a spot a little bit farther south called Port Barton. Be prepared for horrible, and when I say horrible, it's horrible. It's a 4-hour bus ride, and definitely do not be hungover for this one, because trust me, you will not survive.
Very spacious seating so far, wouldn't you say?
I would agree.
But yes, arriving in Port Barton is such a nice change from El Nido, because El Nido is so busy with their tricycles and people and busy streets. But yeah, Port Barton is quite the opposite. It's just kind of one big long beach, very peaceful, very quiet. There are some nice bars and some nice restaurants, but it's definitely a bit of a lower vibe than El Nido. But again, in my opinion, the best thing to do in Port Barton is get onto a boat and check out the surrounding areas of Port Barton. We booked our boat tour through our hostel, and it wasn't really a boat tour, it was more of a booze cruise. But regardless, we saw all the islands, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was just such a unique and great way to spend the day. We booked that boat tour through the hostel we were staying at named Coco Rico, and yeah, if you like to have a bit of a party, you definitely want to be staying at Coco Rico. It is a party hostel, and it is a lot of fun. So if you're wanting to have, you know, a couple drinks and explore the islands, do the booze cruise in Coco Rico, because yeah, you won't regret that one bit. My favorite island on the boat tour was called Starfish Island, and yeah, it's basically just a sandbar in the middle of the ocean with nothing else around. And it's about this deep in water, so it kind of looks like you're walking on water. So some of the drone shots here were pretty amazing. Besides the restaurants and the nice beach, there's not too much else going on in Port Barton, so 2 days should be enough time. Leaving Port Barton now, you have another 3-hour horrible bus ride a little bit farther south, going to a town called Porto Princessa. This is where the airport is located, and this is where you'll be flying to your next destination. Because there's not much to do here, we only suggest spending 1 day in Porto Princessa. We actually didn't do this tour, but there's a tour that takes you to these underground rivers that now are in the 7th wonders of nature in the world. I'm not quite sure how we missed this, but we talked to some friends and some people that went and said it was absolutely amazing. So if you like caves and underground rivers, make sure to check that out, because it looks amazing from what I see. Now, leaving Porto Princessa, you're going to be hopping on a plane and flying to the other side of the Philippines, to probably one of my favorite places in the whole entire world, called Siargao. Siargao is an island known for its surf, and I don't even surf, and I still love it that much. I just recently made a video of Siargao, so if you are planning on coming here and you want more details of what to do, you should definitely give this video a watch. But yeah, Siargao is one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever seen in my life, and I just love that you can rent a scooter and you can cruise around the whole thing in 1 day, and it's just magic. General Luna on Siargao is the main touristy spot. That's where the most restaurants are and the bars, and kind of where the hostels are. So if you're heading to Siargao and you like to be around the happening hustle and bustle, make sure to stay in General Luna. It's honestly kind of hard to describe how amazing Siargao is. I suggest you just go and check it out for yourself, because I could sit here talking about it all day, but it's not going to do it justice. Because of how many things there are to do here in Siargao, we suggest spending at least 6 days to explore the island, just because there's so much stuff to do and you will not be able to see it all, say, if you're only here for 3 days. Definitely, if you are in the Philippines, do not miss Siargao. Make it a priority to come to this beautiful island, because you will not regret that one bit, I promise. And unfortunately, just like that, there goes 21 days or 3 weeks in the Philippines. It flies by, so make sure you're present and you take in all of it, because the Philippines is one of the most magical places on planet Earth. I truly do believe that. And yes, a lot of people are going to be saying, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do that. In 3 weeks, you can only see so much in the Philippines, so you're going to have to come back and stay for a longer time. There is still so many different islands with so much other cool stuff to do, so yeah. Definitely make sure to come back to the Philippines and explore more, because there's endless possibilities while you're here. In my opinion, if you only have 3 weeks in the Philippines, it's better to kind of move slowly and to take everything in than just to be hopping from place to place to place to place trying to see it all. It's better to not move too fast, because you end up moving so fast you miss everything anyways. So enjoy your time here in the Philippines, and remember to have a day off and go make some memories.